Hello, everyone. Please let me know if you can hear me well and if you can see me. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jeff Anderson. And welcome to our 1 year reporting biweekly. We are proud to share the information on our achievements over this year, which we find quite positive in terms of helping the people of the highly suffered regions in Ukraine, in the regions in the oblasts of Ukraine, which were occupied by Russians. And also, we are happy to be involved into fighting the propaganda and spreading the word about the true damages to Ukrainian villages and to Ukrainian infrastructure, agricultural industry, and land in general, because we have been doing this bi-weekly every second week, starting from April last year. So now I will share the presentation, and of course, we are open for the questions, and slowly we will be moving through the report, and of course, the latest situation in Ukraine in terms of the fights, in terms of agricultural industry, in terms of economy, and the life in general. So I'm starting the presentation. If you do not see it, please let me know. But if it is okay, then let's proceed. So today is the 7th of April. This is 1 year since we decided to start the project of World to Rebuild Rural Ukraine. And our start was with the conference, online conference on the application of micronutrients, which was done by the top experts in each of the micronutrients worldwide. So this was very important for Ukrainian agriculture industry for surviving last year. That was the start. So just in a few words to remind you what World to Rebuild Rural Ukraine is. This is the program created by the team of Travelite Agro, and we have met the need, we have seen the need of Ukrainian village citizens in rebuilding their houses, in rebuilding their premises, production premises after the Russian atrocities. Unfortunately, all of us have seen what happened in Borodyanka, in Bucha. Bucha is more a city-like, but Borodyanka is a town, and there are a lot of small villages, hundreds of them, that have been destroyed. For example, the village of Mushchun in Kiev, that was one of the first villages when Russians simply deliberately destroyed all the houses in that village because they saw how Ukrainians live in the village, and they were not welcomed. So how do we help these people? First of all, we fix their houses. This is the main priority because the people need to return to the home, to their homes, and have some roof over their head. Secondly, of course, all of these aid recipients that we work with, they are producing agricultural commodities. Thus, it is vital for them to be able to store and to continue this production and to store the inputs, the equipment, machinery, and the produce that they produced. So this is how they survive. That's why we are helping them in rebuilding their farming premises. Of course, the equipment and the machinery is vital. This is the third aid that we provide to them if it is critical, if the first two ones have been solved or have not been destroyed. And final, the farm animals. For some of the, it has been historical that the village citizens in Ukraine, especially starting since 1991, the independence, when the agricultural industry was simply hardly existent. Everybody who lived in the villages were producing and have been and still are producing as much commodities and products as they can. So they had a few cows, a few pigs, and a couple of dozen of chickens, rabbits, and some turkeys, and so on. So all these animals have been present at probably every second farm in every second village household in the cities, in Ukrainian countryside. We are very grateful to all our ambassadors who were first to support the idea. Those are the reputable people throughout the world who are involved in agricultural or scientific or educational businesses, and who we had worked before on our commercial projects. They supported our idea and provided a word of guarantee and of support for us. We are grateful for trust in us, and I hope that you are satisfied, dear ladies and gentlemen. With this help that we are providing, we have two main principles that we are not crossing. First of all, we do not give off cash to aid recipients. We provide them with services of rebuilding and fixing and repurchasing their properties, and no upgrade. Because if the person is able to use and purchased the tractor of a certain capacity, it means that this is the capacity they need. All the rest will be just money spent in vain. Thank you for joining, everyone. So, of course, how to help? We have two partners. So far, this is the main partner is LifeNest, the NGO in the United States of America, who collect the donations. And once the donations, the spendings are approved by the ambassadors, this is a key point here. We do not spend any penny until the ambassadors approve it. Then the money is transferred to Ukrainian. At this moment, we are working with the Association of Veterans in Agribusiness. This is the Ukrainian NGO. But now that we are 1 year old, we are looking for a more quicker and more effective money separation. So we will have a foundation. We are setting up a foundation in Ukraine that will have the same name, World to Rebuild Rural Ukraine. Thus, it will be officially our bank account collecting the money for the purposes that I've just named. At the beginning of the program, we were utilizing the NGO, the Ukrainian NGO that was created before, that had been created before the war started. So the war, of course, when the war started, all the registration things were slowed down. That's why we just used the already existent one. Of course, we try to pay back to all who are donating, supporting Ukraine. And once the donation is sent, we invite every good person to either join our school. This is all at the website. This is the agricultural school with very highly professional trainings on production of crops, or travel with us at discount. This is what our commercial side of things, which is Travel Light Agro, is trying to return for the kindness of the people who donated towards the rebuilding of Ukrainian village. And we are very much looking for any opportunity to do the presentations at media for egg cooperatives, agricultural companies, egg input supplies, machinery producers, anybody who can support the project. Unfortunately or fortunately, this is for in the future, we will see. This program is going to last for years, if not decades of years, and a lot of help is going to be needed. That's why there is no help, no donation that would be extra. We are looking for even a penny. And by the way, right after Easter, in over 10 days, I will be in the United States of America. Actually, we're arriving on Friday next week. So if there is any opportunity for me to do the presentation at the church or in Chicago, Illinois or Missouri location, I'm open for it, and I will find a window in my schedule to share the information about Ukraine and what is really going on. I'm also very thankful to our team. This is all our team who are involved in Travel Like Agro projects. We all supported the World Tributary Ukraine program, and Irina Mushak, she is chief editor-in-chief, who is responsible for the content of the of our biweeklies. Yulia Bilenka, she is her assistant, and she is second editor. Andrei Nabukhotny, he is involved in all the website management and in preparing the marketing side of things. Volodymyr Furman is our legal advisor, so that everything that is done through the program is done transparently and legally. Dmitro Kalitka, he is our field person who is risking his life most of all. This is something that at first sounds funny, but in fact today you will hear his story, how he traveled to Kherson. Volodymyr Ternovsky, he is the founder of Association of Veterans of Agribusiness, and he is also in the administration of our team. Denis Serhienko and Vitaly Hrishenko are our farmers partners who support us with the information, with the from the field, directly from the field information about state of things in production, agricultural production. Maria Drach and Lesa Hranishna, they're responsible for public relations, design of our materials, and coordinating the projects that are involved in this in the program. And there will be more projects coming. So thank you, team. I wouldn't be able to do anything of that without your help. Now, let's go to the report. So as of the last week, I contacted LifeNets. Our total raisings were a little lower than $55,000. This is within the year of our work and of the presentations. 44,700 have been spent for construction, and I will tell more about it. So 10,000 are still at the account. This is the money that will be used for the next aid recipient, 10,000. So far, we have spent little less than $45,000 in total. In order to keep to fight the propaganda, the Russian propaganda, and to keep the truth out about the real situation in Ukraine, we have held 30 online meetings every second week, but some of them were in the PDF update sent out to all those who signed up for the news review. The total duration of these online meetings, like I'm doing right now, is 53 hours and a half. Also, I have been traveling with my family on the promotion tour for 100 days in the United States of America, and I have done over 50 presentations with information about Ukraine, about our program, and how people can help to over 1,000 people. Those involved businesses, university people, all sorts of media, and many, many more. So now updates that are, as of today, happening in Ukraine that are connected to the war. First of all, the most intense fightings are still in the area of Svatove, Kreminna, and Bakhmut. This is the city that unfortunately has been almost totally destroyed, and we had a farmer interviewed in August who is from that city, who has an orchard there, farming company that was left behind, and he doesn't know what's happening there. the Russians are trying to continue their offensive operations at the front line of Avdiivka, Donetsk. This is over here, and so Donbass, Donetsk, Avdiivka, Donetsk, and of course the Zaporizhia city over here, Nikopol, and all the neighboring, all the close to the line cities are being under attack. Every day we see houses destroyed, people wounded or killed from their C-300 and 400 missiles that they launch to these cities. This is really happening, and it's not a propaganda. We have a lot of proofs that Russians are sending these uncontrolled missiles that are supposed to be protecting the air space. They are sending it towards the civil houses, civil infrastructure in these neighboring cities. So for you to understand how big is the impact of this war in Ukraine, of course, you all know how big it is towards the world, political, economical side of things, but in Ukraine, it is 150 kilometers long. It is like the distance from Kiev to Berlin. By the way, this is what the city where I'm going to fly out to United States, because unfortunately there are no planes coming to Ukraine. And about 16.5% of Ukrainian territory is still occupied by the Russians and by the fighting. This is not what you see right now on this map. It is less 15% because it's just taken from the older publication, but still the territory. And if you remember about maybe the worst timings, they were have occupied about 23% or up to 30%. Yeah, up to 30% of the land. Now it is almost half of that. So that was when they occupied the northern part and whole the Kharkiv and Luhansk region, and Kherson was occupied about a year ago. Now it is 16.5. So what is that for from the standpoint of Russia? No answer. These are their losses. So in officially registered killed Russian military personnel, the number goes up to 177,000. I will tell you the truth. Every Ukrainian, a patriot, every morning when we wake up, we take a cup of coffee and we check the cell phone for this data. We are used to seeing thousands or hundreds of Russians having been killed on Ukrainian land over the last 24 hours. And the more we see the number, the higher we see the number, the happier we are. However, it does not mean that Ukrainian soldiers, unfortunately, are not dying. And we all understand that behind this number, there is, in the best case scenario, at least 10% of the same result, of the dead Ukrainians, at least at some cases, much more. So, and we did not ask anyone to come. We did not want that to be happening. So this is the situation that we are tackling because they came to our country. Now the tanks, you can see here in the in these graphs how many of their equipment we have destroyed in the total number that they have. Yes, there is still a lot. Russia is a huge country, but we are much smaller, and it shows how a lot of criteria, a lot of factors are playing here. Russian poor management of their military, Ukrainian resilience, and support of the West for the good, for the fighting for the on the good side. Now about war crimes. you have been seeing a lot of numbers of people killed, of infrastructure objects destroyed, and of their property stolen. Those are all the crimes, but the worst of them is killing and kidnapping the children. It has been always a case when Russia tried to change the mindset of the younger generations for the favor of their new tyranny. Like, for example, it was in the Soviet times. The children would be willing to give off their parents for the good of the party, of the Communist Party. So this is something what they are doing in Ukraine. They're kidnapping the children from the occupied towns, taking them away from their parents who are still alive, and evacuating, as they call it, evacuation or rescuing them to the territory of Russia. We've seen on the news that some of those children are singing Ukrainian anthems. They are telling the truth. They are playing. The youngest are kind of like playing games. I will eat a Moscovian. Of course they will, because they are true Ukrainians and they understand that they have been kidnapped. This is nothing but fighting for their future and for their freedom at the young age. So, unfortunately, almost 20,000 children have been kidnapped by Russia. This is official number. And the other side, they claim that almost 750 children were rescued, as they say. Unfortunately, only over 300 have been returned, but more to come, because after the issuance of the international agency about taking Putin to Hague court and that he should be arrested. The warrant for arrest was issued, and it was mainly issued from the evidences that were collected by children, war crimes connected with children. And here on this slide, it is not mentioned, but over 500 children died during the war. This is the new generation of Ukraine who have definitely done nothing wrong to the Russians who came to their houses, killed their parents, and destroyed their homes. Now let's talk about the agricultural side of things. So at the beginning of the year 2022, export of agricultural commodity was taking about 40% of the total income from the total income on import. I'm sorry, on export. Right now, it is the leading industry in terms of formation of the export budget. So after the war broke out, more than 50% of export was shut down. In fact, I'd say maybe 90 in the first weeks, but then they started to fix other ways how to do it, how to take the commodities to the ports of Europe and to the final buyers. Almost 24 million metric tons of grain crops were exported through the year. This is not that much, taking into consideration that the total production of the year before was a little bit less than 100 million metric tons. That was mainly because of the stopping of the navigation through the Black Sea. Here are the numbers that you can check later, because this information will be available on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. These are the numbers in thousands of tons, of metric tons, that have been exported by the product. For example, wheat is 13, it's actually 13 million and 170,000. So this number is thousands of tons. That is the total within the marketing year, which starts from the 1st of July and the previous marketing year. Let's proceed. Now let's see crops wise. And first of all, November 22, December 22, January here should be 2023, and February and March 2023. So this is there is a mistyping here. It should be 3. So you see, grain crops are the leading export commodity, and the numbers go almost to 4.5 million metric tons. Then we have oil crops, vegetable crops, and cakes of oil crops. As you can see, the March 2023 has the highest level, and it is almost the same as it was before the war, because before the war, within 1 month, we were able to export a little bit more than 6 million metric tons of agricultural commodities throughout all the ways of transportation. Now it is 5.7 million metric tons. It is pretty much the same. So what helped us to survive, what helped Ukrainian farmers to survive is the Black Sea Grain Initiative. This was the initiative that was signed at the end of July and started working at the beginning of August, where the corridor was created. And since that time, with inspection of 3 parties, Ukraine, Russia, unfortunately they are involved too, and Turkey, each of the cargo ships could enter the 3 ports of Ukraine for the purpose of then being loaded with agricultural commodities. The grain initiative was prolonged until 18th of March, and then the prolongation had again its obstacles. Russia was against it, and in fact, as a result, with the requested 120-day prolongation, they have signed only 60. But I hope this will be enough for our victory. So about 25 million metric tons. This is equal to what we have exported throughout the 2022 number, very close at least, have been delivered to 45 countries in the world. Grain from Ukraine is another initiative, and even being in the difficult situation, we are helping the countries that suffer from starvation, whose people extremely lack food. So as a result, March 25th, the 6th ship with 30,000 tons of wheat went to Yemen from the port of Chornomorsk. This is the humanitarian program, and 43 countries are supporting this program to feed the world that lacks the food, disregarding the war situation in Ukraine. Now, what is going to be the next year? I would like to tell you that we have been very pessimistic about the season until we ran this event that was also partially humanitarian, because the price was as low as you can imagine, just to filter the ones who are interested, and that was all about phosphorus and potassium application, which are the 2 key inputs for the production of any crop. And due to the uncertainty in the fall, a lot of farmers were not able to apply these elements. Thus, this year, in the beginning of this year, they have they have had a lot of questions on what to apply, what to expect if you don't apply, and so on. So these are the team of speakers who joined our event and provided the information on how to survive and to minimize the bad impact from the non-application of these elements, or how to minimize the application for the purpose of uh, just pertaining the same level of production. And as you can see, World to Rebuild Rural Ukraine was also one of the co-organizers of this event. So this event showed that Ukrainian farmers are going forward. They're going into the fields, disregarding the fact that there are mines, that there might be mines there, disregarding the fact that they have not raised enough money by selling the commodities to finish this season. They hope for some miracles, but they still go into the field and plant. Of course, this is worth of a lot of respect, and we tried to help them. So there is no problem with supplies of seed because the warehouses are full of the seeds made in Ukraine, and some of it was imported. There was a problem with the sunflower seeds because the sunflower regions in Ukraine are mostly occupied by Russians. This is where the active fighting is going on, and we cannot utilize the imported seeds from the countries of Europe, because this is not Ukraine is the #1 producing country of sunflower, and our seeds are very tailored for the region, because they've been researched here and produced here for this region. Thus, buying it from the other countries would be lowering the production. However, the fact that our lands, unfortunately, are still occupied where this commodity is going to be grown, so therefore it just covers itself. So the less supply of the seeds means the less acres for planting those seeds. We do not have enough of nitrogen fertilizers, and you probably understand why, because most of the nitrogen fertilizers were coming from either Russia or from Belarus. Therefore, we need to look for options what to do with this input here in Ukraine, and the regenerative agriculture application of organic fertilizers, cover crops that would capture nitrogen in the top layers of the soil. Those are the solutions that are very popular right now for these farmers. And of course, nobody is looking into the programs of fertilization that are so-called build up the fertility, just to pertain the same level. This is the maximum they are looking for this season. So the planting season has just started, so the numbers are still very small, and these are the small grains. However, we expect to have 19.3 million hectares of land planted. Now, let me remind you, total acreage, hectarage of Ukrainian farming land is 28 million hectares. So it is almost 1/3 less that is expected to be planted. And even last year, it was more than this year. That is the consequences which experts were mentioning last year, that in the season of 2022, the farmers were entering with already purchased inputs, and although the war was very active, they had some budget and they had some inputs to go through this season. But that season was very tough to sell the commodities and to get the loans. Therefore, they ended up the calendar year with minimum storage minimum inputs in their storage facilities and revenues at their bank accounts. So a lot of them are, you see, the majority are still going into the fields, but some of them actually, some of the fields will stay fallow. And that is understanding that a lot of land has been liberated since the beginning of the season 2022. A very interesting and inspiring article was published recently by Forbes, and it is based on the International Monetary Fund. It is about the growth of Ukrainian economical numbers, economy in the upcoming years until, as you can see, 2027. I would like to pay attention that the real GDP of Ukraine last year went to -30. It was 3.4 before the war, and in 2025 it is expected to be 6.5, which means that the growth of the economy is going to be rapid. The prices will go down, and unfortunately, the salary will not reach up the same level. It will be less than it was before the war. However, there is a very good rising pattern. Unemployment rate will also go down because, for example, there is an official statistics that in Ukraine last year, the majority of the private entrepreneurs that started their entrepreneurship were women. So this is a very good number for the gender rights, so to say, for leveling up the rights of genders. Women in Ukraine are opening businesses and they are much more active. They have been much more active last year than the men. The reason, of course, is understood because men went to fight and women need to support the economy, to support the families and support the army as well. And another interesting number is the direct investment into Ukraine. As you can see, the numbers until 24, probably they know something what we don't know. Until 2024 will be as low as it was when the war started. However, after 2024, in the late of that year, it will raise and go much higher than it was before the war. I think that this, and I've also seen, I've heard a lot of information coming from my partners abroad that there are companies, for example, in Germany, there are a number of companies who are already standing, so to say, in line to start investments in rebuilding Ukraine. Of course, they will make money on that, but it will bring bring life into economy of Ukraine. I would like to mention one of the first of Ukrainian aid recipients of ours who we helped last year, and he was supposed to be joining right now, but unfortunately he is in the fields and he said that he needed to travel, so he's out of the cell phone coverage. However, what he told me, so we presented him with the tractor which we brought from the company Mais, and Viktor Borisov just presented it to him. Our task was first of all to find it and then to deliver it to him, to his farm. And if I find the video, there is a video of the helicopter being shot down over the field, agricultural field in Ukraine. It was done in March, so it was one of the first Russian helicopters shot down, and it was his field. Here we are, and I would like to introduce our first guest here. his name is Yaroslav Chabanyuk, and he and his wife are helping they are experts in pottery, and this is the new part that we would like to introduce to our biweeklies for the future year, which is the Ukrainian traditions, or popularizing the Ukrainian cultural side of things. This is the pottery workshop in Kiev, which works according to the cultural traditional styles, and anyone can come to their pottery, which is located in downtown Kiev, and train to make all these things out of the true clay. Also, and Yaroslav will do the tour right now for us. Let us ask these questions to him. Dima, ти там? Дім.
Так, я тут. Так, чути мене?
Не чути. Чомусь тебе не чути. Бачу, що ти наче говориш, а чомусь... О, зараз чую. Да.
О, чути, да?
Так, зараз я виключу
доброго дня.
слайд. So, hello everyone. Dmitro, our project coordinator, is going to be showing the tour of this pottery.
Так, ми знаходимося в центрі міста зараз в творчій майстерні Яр, і завітали в гості до Ярослава, і зараз він вам розкаже і покаже свою майстерню.
We are located in the downtown Kyiv in the creative pottery. You can see their logo, Yar, which is in downtown, and Yaroslav, the owner, is going to show to do the tour through this pottery. Доброго дня, Ярославе. Дякую за те, що знайшли час.
Привіт.
Ну що, запрошуйте.
Що?
So this is the basement. For you to understand, also a very important thing for today, that it is in the basement, outside of the... You can hide here during the air raid. Я що сказав, що оскільки ви знаходитеся в підвалі, це дуже зручно саме під час ось цих наших теперішніх реалій. Так.
Да, в нас, мені дуже подобається це приміщення, ми вкладаємо в нього душу і хочемо, щоб воно було як домашня атмосфера, тобто це сімейний бізнес, і хочеться, щоб це була як родинна така от атмосфера.
So we like this premise, and we treat it with the soul, with the heart, and try to create a family atmosphere for all those who come here to do some, to make up things of clay.
Все, що ви бачите ось тут, на полицях, це все те, що люди створюють самі на занятті з нашою допомогою.
All these items that you can see on the shelves, these are the items that are made of the regular people, just like you and me, who have their fantasy, and with the help of the professionals, Yaroslav and his wife and their team, they make it real.
У нас є створені роботи, які ліпляться вручну.
There are works that are done with manually, and they are unique from the design standpoint of view.
Є традиційні форми, такі як ось такі.
These are the traditional forms, the cultural. А чому вони традиційні? Розкажіть про цю форму, будь ласка, що це має, чому вона таку має форму, цей чайничок? I asked, why is it traditional? Why does it have the shape of the circle?
Ця форма називається куманець.
This is the Ukrainian name kumanets.
Вона створена для алкогольних напоїв.
This is created for the alcoholic beverages.
Для зручності, щоб розносити, можна було на різні столи. Це робилося в шинках, в місцях, де подавався алкоголь. Їх можна було надягати на руку і брати кілька речей, а так попідряд. І вони набирались на руки, і можна було нести і розставляти їх по місцях.
At the weddings and at the restaurants or shinooks, as we call it in Ukraine, if you were to use them to serve people, a larger team of people, they could be held on the arms, just like Yaroslav just showed, and you can take a couple of them to go to the table with the guests.
Це вже завершена робота, вона вже запечена, пройшла повністю обробку, зроблена в традиційній техніці молоченої кераміки. Це саме традиційні для країни.
So this is already finished item. It has been baked in the oven and it has been covered with the painting, and it has been done in the manner of painting called the milk ceramics. А чому молочна кераміка? Вона має якесь відношення до молока, чи це просто...
Так, напряму. Тобто вона в світі використовується глазурований посуд, і в нас він теж використовується. Глазур...
I asked why is it called milk? Does it are we talking about the milk, the cow milk? He says that yes, very directly. In the world, a lot of the dishes are glazed, covered with this glass that is called glaze. In Ukraine, it is also a tradition.
Глазурований посуд, він дорогий, його не всі могли собі дозволити.
But this manner of making this pottery is quite expensive, and not every family could afford buying these dishes made of covered with glaze.
І для того, щоб посуд не пропускав воду, не пропускав їжу, його треба чимось, пори, які є в глині, треба чимось закривати.
In order for the already made item, whether it is a bowl or a cup, mug, not to be soaked with water through the pores that are natural in the clay, these pores need to be sealed somehow.
Скло – це найкращий спосіб, але є альтернативні шляхи. Один з них – це
the glaze, which is the glass, actually is the best way to cover, to close the pores. However, there is an alternative, cheaper way.
Тут ми запікаємо роботу, купаємо в молоці і ще раз запікаємо. Молоко згорає і забиває пори, які пропускають воду.
So what we do, first of all, we put a freshly made and dried out item into the oven to bake it. Once it is one time baked, we take it out and put into the milk, and then wet it goes again into the oven, so that the milk, when it gets into the pores and then is heated out, it just punches and it seals the pores, and we have the same effect as of the glass if it is melted on top of the pottery.
Є інші ще варіанти. Є натирають воском роботи. Є вкривається олією і теж запікається, тоді олія згорає і залишається в порах. Тобто є різні способи, але найбільш традиційні – це якраз молочна кераміка для України.
There are other ways, like for example, before the second baking, it can be covered with oil or with candles are made of it, wax, I'm sorry, or with wax. And then when it burns down, the pores are also sealed. However, for Ukrainian traditional pottery culture is pouring molds, cleaning up, firing. А в нас тут якраз зараз один із учасників написав, що його мама працює в... Зараз я відкрию чат, секундочку. Thank you, Dr. Roberts. My mother operated a ceramic store. Мати колись управляла магазином по продажу кераміки. I grew up pouring molds. cleaning up, firing, baking, pouring molds. I don't know what is mold in this meaning. Dr. Craig, what is this the same as this glaze?
The molds actually are different than the pottery. Pottery is formed by hand, and molds are sort of a slurry that is poured, and then you let them dry. Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt. Just wanted to tell Dimitro, thank you. I grew up with this. My mother ran a store, and I had to do this from the time I was probably about 6 years old until I left home.
Так, це доктор Крейг Робертс. Він, до речі, очолює команду професорів в університеті штату Міссурі, яка зібралася, яка підтримує Україну в плані того, що вони дають безкоштовні лекції для студентів і також участвують в наших інших проєктах по відновленню ґрунту. Ось, то він каже, що з 6 років він працював в магазині, де мама його виготовляла, але це литі були. Це не так, як ручна глина, але виливалися різні форми, то він чистив їх після пофарбування і чистив також саму піч. Це для нього досить такі приємні спогади, що ви показуєте.
Є така кераміка, це в нас це називається швікерне лиття. Тобто береться рідка глина, яка заливається в гіпсові форми. І це більш промисловий спосіб, але тим не менше це теж кераміка, це теж гончарство.
Yes, Yaroslav knows what you were talking about, because in Ukraine we also use it. This is more industrial way of doing the pottery, because it's faster and it uses these forms. Right, yes, that's right. We are familiar with what you mentioned.
Ще хочу показати вам теж те, що ми любимо створювати. Тобто в нас є гончарний круг і в нас є традиційні форми для музичних інструментів. Ось окарина.
Як ви назвали її?
Окарина.
This is one of the things that you can make of clay. Of course, you can make dishes, but this is the musical instrument made of clay. It is ocarina.
Yes. Да, тобто, якщо конкретно береться пташка, то це зозулька. Якщо музичний інструмент, це окарина, вона в всьому світі називається окарина.
So it is a universal name, ocarina, but it is usually made of the real bird, cuckoo. So,
Я зараз покажу, як воно грає. Це одна форма, я зараз покажу потім ще інші.
I will show you what sounds make this small shape, and there are others also. Не чути. Я думаю, що iPhone... Ні, не чути. Я думаю, що iPhone виключає звук як шум.
Високий. Але давай пробуємо менше. Тут є нижчий звук.
Unfortunately, the cell phone has the noise cancellation and it just didn't recognize it as the music.
Цю чути?
Да, цю чути. And here the sound is lower, more bass into it, not the high tones, and it doesn't clear the noise, so to say. Чути тільки початок. Коли починаєте, тоді чути. А далі починає знову глушити.
Ну, я з цим не можу нічого зробити.
Unfortunately, there is nothing that we can do right now with this voice cancellation, but you are welcome to Ukraine after the victory, and we will organize the tour for you to this pottery to show what it is like.
Хочу ще показати, ось тут ми об'єднали техніку, всередині ми зробили глазурь, щоб вона не пропускала воду. А зовні декорування молоком, бо нам дуже подобається колір, який виходить з цього.
So here you can see the combination of two techniques. Inside it is glaze covered and outside it is milk. The reason why it is outside because we like the effect of the true milk on this pottery. And inside, the glaze is doing good thing for the sealing of the pores.
Ще теж традиційна форма кераміки – це горщики-близнюки.
It's also a traditional shape for Ukrainian culture to Max, just a second. Let me translate. Two pots, which are called twin pots.
Це ланчбокс.
I think you understood.
Тобто це з оцією посудою йшли працювати на поля ті, хто живуть в селі. Тобто сюди клалася одна страва, сюди клалась друга страва, зверху надягалась дерев'яна кришка, і це було зручно йти ось так. Тобто йдеш, воно не переважує, і зручно з ним було йти на поле. Ти поїв собі і з ним йшов. Тут було для солі або для свічки місце.
So this is a lunchbox that Ukrainian village citizens, the farmers, all of them were farmers, took with them to the field. So one of the meals was in one pot, the other one in the other. There were two caps, wooden caps on to seal it, and in the small pot there was either salt or the candle. So it was easy to carry into the field, and it also holds the temperature very well. So it was kind of like refrigerated always. Кажу, я вже від себе додав, з вашого дозволу, що воно не давало нагріватися так швидко, тому що це ж глина. Глина, вона має ізоляцію.
Так, ну що, пішли далі, буду показувати далі. Це наша перша кімната, з якою ми працюємо. Показую в другій кімнаті, в якій у нас зараз ще працюють якраз наші колеги.
So this was the first room, and now let's show you the second room. This is where the colleagues, not the students, but the colleagues, the team are making things.
Якраз у нас іде процес створення робіт за першим і за другим столом.
Пропадає зв'язок. Напевно, треба підключитися до Wi-Fi. Дім.
Секундочку.
Probably we need to reconnect to Wi-Fi. I just said that the connection is becoming poor.
1, 2, 3, 5, підряд. Цифри. До 8.
Okay, just a second. They're connecting to the. If you have questions, please go ahead. It is a very interesting to communicate, intercultural communication, just like Dr. Craig. Да, видно зараз добре. Да.
Покажу вам процес.
So this is how the process looks like. А що це буде?
Медальйони.
Медальйони.
So these are the medallions. А на що на них намальовано?
Це традиційні українські символи.
Руни, ні?
Ні, це ось пташка.
Більше трипільська. This is the bird, the traditional Ukrainian, these are the medallions, traditional, with your traditional Ukrainian pictures on it.
Так.
And symbols that you can see also on the embroidered shirts.
Тут у нас знаходяться печі, в яких ми запікаємо роботи.
These are the ovens where we bake the ready products.
Якраз в одній з печей зараз температура 944 градуси по Цельсію.
So one of the ovens has the process going on, and you can see the temperature Celsius is a little bit less than 1,000 degrees.
Прошу. Теж це те, що роботи, які сохнуть, які створюються зараз в процесі створення.
Kiln is the name of the oven. Це роботи, these are the works of the students, of the people, you see the ring here, that have been made recently, and they are drying out on these shelves before they go to the illness. Thank you, Dr. Craig.
Це роботи, які в процесі глазурування, тобто вони ще не запечені в склі, але вже вкриті склом.
These are the works that are already covered with glass, but they have not yet been baked.
В принципі, все. Питайте.
If you have questions, please ask. Я маю запитання. Розкажіть про свою роботу з військовими по реабілітації. I have a question. Please tell us about the work that you are doing with the military and in terms of rehab.
Зараз ми багато працюємо з військовими як реабілітація. Вона дає можливість переключитися на щось інше.
We have a lot of projects that are the purpose of them of these projects working with the military is to help them switch their thinking, the topic that they are thinking about, which is mainly, of course, war, to something more positive.
Зараз на даний момент у нас є два наших волонтерських проекти. Один в госпіталі, де лікуються наші військові, другий там, де проходять вже реабілітацію.
There are two currently humanitarian projects that Yaroslav is saying they are running. One is directly in the military hospital, which is located in downtown of Kyiv. It is a huge, also historical area. And the second is in the rehab center.
Будемо робити ще одну реабілітаційну кімнату в дитячій поліклініці Охмедет, саме для дітей, які теж постраждали від війни, які зараз лікуються там.
There is a children's hospital, the major children's hospital in Kyiv. It is called Охорона матері and дитини. The acronym is OHMADIT, which is protection of mother and the child. That's the name of the clinics, and they are creating the room there in these clinics for the children who have been evacuated from the war and who have suffered from the aggression. They also were under the huge pressure psychologically. So this is the rehab for the children.
З військовими ми працюємо з 2014 року.
We have started our work with military, with soldiers since 2014.
Зараз просто ми почали вже це робити в більших масштабах. Якщо раніше це була тільки робота в майстерні, то зараз ми вже вирішили не скільки вести сюди, а скільки йти до тих, хто не може добратися до нас самостійно.
At the beginning, it was a small-scale project. Now, with the full-scale invasion, the need is higher. So we are not inviting them to our location, but we are coming with the instruments to them so that we can be more effective.
Ми співпрацюємо із психологами, із арт-реабілітологами, з ними розробляємо свою програму. Вона дає можливість людям побачити паралельний шлях, зрозуміти, що це не кінець, в якому стані вони зараз перебувають, а те, що вони можуть рухатись далі. Вони бачать не тільки тут, а вони бачать інший шлях.
We work with, Yaroslav says, we work with the psychologists and with the rehabilitation experts, professors on developing the programs that provide some understanding of the bypass from this dead end that the soldiers find themselves after they have been wounded, or especially if they've lost, if they have some of the how do you call it, of the injuries that cannot be fixed, like disabilities. So they perceive it as the dead end. However, this technology and this practice shows that there is an alternative, more positive bypass in their life that will lead to a more interesting future.
Ми з ними працюємо в 3 напрямках. Перший – це реабілітація дрібна моторика, розробка м'язів і розробка нових зв'язків мозку.
So we work in 3 directions, so to say, with the soldiers. First of all, is the movements of the fingers, the motor abilities of their hands, and of course the calming down of the emotional state of things in the mind, in the head, in the brain.
Другий – це довга реабілітація психологічна, щоб пробувати себе в чомусь іншому і щоб можна було розробляти не тільки руки, а і більш як психологічна розгрузка. Але це довготривалий період. Це місяць, 2-3.
The more long-lasting program that is lasting for 2 to 3 months, where we work with them for them to try themselves to acquiring some new skills and to see maybe this is what they can continue doing in the future. It's a longer process.
І третій варіант – це короткострокові заняття, тобто це може бути 1 заняття, 2 заняття, бо не всі приїжджають на довге лікування. Хтось це може бути відпустка, і це там 3 дні всього-навсього. І вони приїжджають, і вони пробують, це просто приємна емоція, з якою вони можуть далі рухатись.
And for somebody, especially for the soldiers who come for the vacation and they need to restart and to get some positive emotion, it is just a short practice, short training or workshop that they enjoy and get some energy and then return to the same life as before.
Окрема сфера – це коли сімейні майстер-класи, коли бійці приходять зі своєю сім'єю. З'являється проблема в тому, що коли людина повертається до мирного або більш-менш мирного життя, вона не знає, як почати знову спілкуватися зі своїми рідними. І один з способів налагодження зв'язків – це якраз проведення часу разом, і в цьому ми теж допомагаємо.
And one very important positive impact is when the soldier comes from the war back into their family, and the whole family comes to their pottery, and this is kind of helping him to return to normal relationship, to restore the normal relationship with their families, because after the war they continue living in the other world, and it is difficult for them to start the communication with the closest people to them. And things like that, like making stuff from clay, joins them together and creates these broken ties, emotional ties with the family. Дякую, Ярославе. Do you have any questions, ladies and gentlemen, about the program? If I have a phone call from Alexander, the farmer, яка дзвонить наш фермер, якого я видзвоню. If you allow me, I will ask him. Олександре, ви можете, добрий день, ви можете підключитися зараз до ефіру? Маєте можливість? Ага. Alexander said that he is on the way to Kyiv from Zhytomyr, so he's unfortunately not able to join. Добре, Олександре, тоді ми з вами поспілкуємося пізніше. He's saying thank you everyone for helping him. Вибачте, Ярославе, що я перебив. Це наш один із реципієнтів допомоги. Якраз ти розказуємо. He is saying that he's grateful for the help. Right now, he is coming from the bank, trying to get the loan for the planting season. So he also continues to plant. And he's also looking for the input materials and seeds to borrow and to pay out later. So he's trying to get the inputs for the production season. He's working. Удачі вам, дякую, Олександре. Дякую. I'm sorry that I could not participate, he's saying. Вже пропадає зв'язок. Добре, Олександре, дякую, щасливо. So, sorry for switching the topic so quickly. Вибачте, що так поміняли швидко теми. Мав бути Олександр трошки раніше, зараз тільки віддзвонився. Ladies and gentlemen, if there is any question, please go ahead. Other than that, yes.
Yes, Roman. Is there a website or YouTube that describes this program? The reason I ask is we have many programs in the United States that help veterans recover from the war. And I would just like to know if this is documented on the web somehow, if I could pass this around. Thank you.
Ярославе, доктор Крейг запитує, чи ця технологія, оце, про що ви зараз говорили, воно є у вас десь в онлайні, описане, нехай не науково, але достатньо ґрунтовно прописане, тому що в них це є проблемою. В них теж багато ветеранів повертається до нормального життя, є різного роду програми, і ось такої, це була би дуже хороша, тобто для вас, до речі, можливість виходу на...
В нас немає такої обмеженої, що цього. Ми її просто зараз набираємо базу, і ми хочемо її сформувати в якусь основу. Зараз співпрацюємо із організацією «Лікарі без кордонів», і з ними разом хочемо написати таку програму.
So far, right now, they are just working out the materials and testing and seeing the results, along with the program, also a humanitarian program named Doctors with No Borders, or Without Borders. And once they compose this program, they plan to write an article with them. But of course, the social media links I will provide you with, and we will post them on our website. Ваші соцмережі є також на сайт, не сайт, кажу, Facebook, там Instagram, так?
Так, є Instagram, ми основно більше Instagram ведемо, але Facebook це інформація. Звичайно, викладаємо і висвітлюємо свою діяльність, і, звісно, якщо буде якась програма, ми будемо раді поділитися досвідом.
Yaroslav says that they have Instagram page, Facebook page, and of course, once they come out with the program, they will share it with you. Meanwhile, I just had an idea. We will create a page on our website with all these cultural visits that we will be taking this year, and each of the hosts will have a separate page with detailed information and contact information and their social media, so that you could share with the people who might be in the future partners for our hosts. We are welcome for any kind of ideas as well. Я кажу, зараз в мене народилася ідея, оскільки ми вперше починаємо цю рубрику в нашому BiWeekly, а це вже за 30-те включення. Ми зробимо на нашому сайті сторінку, присвячену кожному, починаючи з вашого гончарного кружка, якщо це правильно сказати, гончарні, да? Буде сторінка з вашими контактами, якщо будь-хто за кордоном захоче співпрацювати чи відвідати, то буде для вас,
задоволення.
We would love to create partnership and to work with you. Є зараз відгук відразу від доктора Стівена Ван Вліта. Який великий вплив ви робите для українських солдатів? Я переповнений емоціями щодо сили та протистояння стійкості українських людей. Підтримуйте таку фантастичну роботу, продовжуйте її робити. І також, Романе, вам і вашим колегам теж передаю побажання сили фермерам і власникам бізнесу, колегам, які працюють з вами. Україна переможе.
Звичайно. Дякую.
Of course, Steven, Dr. Steven, of course. Дякую, Ярославе, удачі, справді, і ви відкрили цю нову рубрику, дуже ефектно відкрили. Я сподіваюся, що ми настільки ж зможемо вам бути корисними для майбутньої вашої розвитку вашої роботи. І хто знає, можливо, справді зробите програму, яка буде дійсно на весь світ корисною для ось таких ось цілей. I said thank you. You've opened a very, you've done, with your help, we were able to premiere the blog in our BiWeekly that will be devoted to these cultural, traditional things in Ukraine. And I hope that we will be our cooperation and our program will be also useful for you, Yaroslav, in terms of creating this program and telling about it worldwide. Дякую, Ярославе. Дякую, Дмитро, за те, що за включення. Всього найкращого. Слава Україні.
Героям слава. Бережіть себе.
Thank you. I said Slava to Ukraine, glory to the heroes, and take care. So now I will proceed with the presentation. We still have a number of slides that I want to share with you. By the way, 3 weeks ago, you can see me here. I'm making the mug, and these are the items that my family. Can you see it or no? The presentation, is it visible on the screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah. So this is the picture taken in this first room where we are making with my kids these items, and these items have already been baked, so they are in at our home. You see the photographs. That's my family. We also had a very wonderful visit to this pottery. And you see, this is the decoration, traditional also decorations, the coat of arms, the map with Crimea, birds, and the palm tree leaves. So now I would like Dima will continue talking about his experience. Unfortunately, we need sometimes to return to the real life. And these are some of the witnesses from the real life in Kherson Oblast. This is the region that has been just recently liberated from Russians. Recently, I mean before the New Year in December. And that's how the things still look like in this area. Right bank. This is the Dnieper River separates the occupied and unoccupied regions, and the occupied regions have been under occupation for 8.5 months. So we have helped. We have received the request for help to the family in Kherson Oblast. I will tell about it a little bit later, but Dima, ти там?
Так, тут.
Да, то розказуй, будь ласка, по фотографіях, що ти бачив, як це все проходило. So Dima, along with our construction manager, Andrei, they 2 weeks ago, they went to Kherson Oblast to inspect the fourth potential aid recipient of our program, and this is what they saw on their way. Дім.
Так, по першому слайду ми бачимо Почну з того, що ми відвідали Херсон. Це приблизно було по датам. Зараз вибачаюсь, секундочку. 17 березня ми відвідали Херсонську область. Це з нашим будівельником Андрієм. І от по першому слайду ми бачимо знищені машини. Це
Алло.
Так, секунду, вибачаюсь.
Я тоді перекладу. So on the in the mid March, me and Andrei, we went to Kherson Oblast. You can see what were the things that we met on the road that the cars right now are allowed to drive through.
Можна переключати, в принципі, слайд. Так, тут на фото видно, як знищена аграрна техніка та великі сільські господарства цілі зруйновані. Тобто русські винищували спеціально все, що пов'язане з сільським господарством, щоб люди не могли себе забезпечувати та вирощувати якісь продукти.
This slide proves that Russian military deliberately were destroying the farming opportunities for the local citizens in the area. You can see this is not the tank, not the cannon. It is the combine, and there are headers, and behind is the farm that was destroyed and the tractor. Peaceful non-military agricultural machinery is burned down deliberately by the Russians in that area. For the people, local people have no opportunity to feed themselves. This is how they're fighting in this war.
Вся Херсонська область замінована ще, і у нас була там можливість зустрічатися з правоохоронними органами, і вони казали, що кожного неділі там зриваються люди, там 1-2 людини зриваються на полях, і не тільки. Ось бачимо ми на фото село на фоні, і табличка заміновано. По цих дорогах ходять діти в школу, і тобто це все в населеному пункті. Тут є залишки ракет біля дитячого садочка. Ось замінований дитячий садочок, який ще досі не розмінували.
You can see on the photos, this is the outskirts of the town where the land is still mined. The children go to the schools between home and schools through these roads, and if they step one step to the side, they're in the mined field. On the photograph here, you can see this is the kindergarten, the territory of which is mined. Why would they do that? And unfortunately, the police, while they were visiting, they told them that every week, 1 or 2 civilians are dying because they go off the paths that are safe, and they get into the mines. And you can see the remains of the missiles. This is the C-300s. You've seen a lot of them in the fields. So these are in the town.
Ось такі ракети ми зустрічали на полях, і не тільки, які не розірвалися просто, їх дуже багато в полях. І, тобто нас поліцейські попереджували, щоб ми не виходили з машини, як їхали по дорозі, не виходячи на обочину, тому що небезпечно. Тобто скрізь іде розмінування, було дуже багато саперів по дорозі ми зустрічали.
Andrei and Dima were warned by the policemen not to stop at the side of the roads, just to drive through the roads without stopping, because a lot of these missiles and a lot of mines are just close to the road. They have seen a lot of those exploded in the agricultural fields, and they have met a couple of teams of demining experts that were working, and this process is going on, and it is there is a lot of work to do.
Тут на фото ми бачимо, як зруйнована інфраструктура в цих місцевостях. На лівому фото це поліцейський, здається, участок в самій цій Великій Олександрівці, де ми були територіально, також вишку, тобто знищували зв'язок повністю з Україною, щоб люди не мали змогу не зв'язатися, не бачили ні телебачення, не мали ніякої інформації по новинах і так далі.
Here you can see how the Russians were fighting the infrastructure of Ukraine. They have destroyed here on the left. This is the police station, and there is a cell phone tower. They wanted to destroy it as the priority because so that the people would not be able to be connected with the rest of Ukraine and to get the right information. So that was like a priority target for them. You see, they have the premises around it were destroyed too, and there are no antennas on top.
Також ми тут бачимо залізничне сполучення, де зруйноване було. Тобто це така одна дорога в це село, під якою потрібно було проїжджати. Ну, небезпечно. Там об'їзд дуже великий, щоб попасти в Велику Олександрівку.
So this is the entrance to the village, and if you are not able to pass through this road, you need to pass to go the other way a very long distance. So it was destroyed in order to block the village.
Так, можемо переключатися.
So these are the regular screens, pictures in the villages.
Тут на фото зображені є, можна повернути, Ром?
Тут?
У мене або зависло. Так. Ось на фото зверху справа зображено повністю село, яке повністю зруйноване. Туди навіть заборонена дорога, там стоять великі блоки, того, що того села вже, можна сказати, не існує. І воно досі заміноване там повністю.
On this picture, you can see the village. It used to be a village long ago, before the war. And right now, all the entrances to the village are blocked with the huge construction objects so that nobody gets there because it is mined and nobody lives there. It's almost 100% destroyed. The village of the people who hardly were any military or were hiding some cannons in their garages.
Вибачаюсь, в мене зв'язок пропав просто. Так, це сама... Так, чути?
Чути, да.
Це сім'я Коваленків.
Знову пропав зв'язок? So this is the family of Yulia Kovalenko, the potential next aid recipient in the village of Velika Alexandrivka in Kherson Oblast. Dima and Andrei came there for the purpose of inspecting this warehouse that we are looking for the possibility to restore. And after today's session, we will be asking the ambassadors to approve rebuilding of this storage facility for them. Дім, ти там? There is poor connection with Dima. He's trying to reconnect. Just a second. Dim. Діма, ти чуєш?
Так, вибачаюсь, мене повністю викинуло просто з Zoom.
Okay, we are back.
Так, ситуація в сім'ї, ми оцінили відбудову, яку вони потребують. Це їхнє складське приміщення розмірів приблизно 120 квадратних метрів. По зруйнуванню, слава Богу, будинок в них цілий, придатний до життя нормально. по складському приміщенню потрібно відновити повністю дах і добудувати там деякі стіни.
So the storage facility is about 120 square meters. The house, thanks God, was survived the shellings, and the process of rebuilding this premise will involve fixing all the roof and some of the walls.
Так, ну,
Вони цього року можуть щось вирощувати? В них є план працювати, чи їхні поля повністю заміновані? I'm asking if they can do their production this year or their fields are still mined. You can see the numbers.
Дуже маленьку кількість вони там будуть обробляти, тому що деякі поля і заміновані, і в принципі немає в них поки можливості там це робити.
Unfortunately for this season, only a small part of the land that they had been farming before the war will be in production because of the mine, and there is no access to those fields for a couple of reasons. But this is, as you can see, they farm at about 15, a little less than 15 hectares. They produce winter wheat, barley, and sunflowers. And of course, they have some animals, just like I mentioned before. So these are the photographs of the warehouse. Я кажу, це фотографії цього складського приміщення, да?
Так, все правильно.
That's how it was destroyed. 120 square meters. Окей. Добре, Дім. Тоді дякую тобі. Будемо тоді зараз продовжувати, закінчувати. Чи ти маєш ще щось додати?
Ні, дякую, все.
Okay, thank you, Dima, for your work. We will proceed. I asked if he has anything else to add. So the purpose, the total budget, approximate budget for rebuilding that storage facility, this one is about $10,000 plus or minus. That's excluding the administrative costs, and our administrative costs cannot go higher than 25%. So now let's report on what we have done. You have seen and you have heard the Alexander farm. We helped him to create a word about him. I mean, we made a movie, we posted his story on a number of the media resources, and he received $14,000 from the group of people, the journalists. On our end, we helped Alexander with the tractor. So he was able to do the winter planting, and as you've heard today, he is looking for the resources to go into the season and to do planting production this year. Next was Ala Kokosha. Her house is located on the road. This is a highway over here. Kyiv is on the right side, and on the left side it goes straight to Warsaw. That's just about 30 kilometers from Kyiv, and this is the noise canceling fence from the highway over there behind her fence, and they had a number of buildings. As you can see, the husband, Ala's husband, he is the very hardworking person, so he built that all from bricks himself, and there was a second, like the storage facility for them here on the left. Everything was destroyed. So we built the house for them, and also after the help that we provided, it's how the word of mouth works. Other groups of people heard about them, and in the springtime, they brought for them a small temporary, like the railroad, and it's a small house that is movable. It's a new one, brand new one. It's made for these compact houses, so that their family now have a tiny but still a decent place to live while they are fixing inside. So what we do within the World to Build Rural Ukraine program, we provide the aid recipients with the walls, with the outside decoration, the roof, the outside infrastructure, windows and the doors. Usually this is the same place where the building was, so all the communications, all the water, gas pipes, electricity are already in the floor. We fix it from the floor till the roof. In the inside part is for them. So I just talked to Ala and she said that she is grateful because first of all we built a solid house for them for years, and now they have also received help from others. She asked me if we can borrow them a cultivator, because I have a small soil cultivator and she needs to do the planting. She also last year after liberation, it was in April when they returned, they did the planting. They produced vegetables and they were canning the cucumbers and tomatoes and sending them to the military. So this is how these people work, what these people are. They have experienced these sufferings from Russia, and now with limited possibilities, they do all they can in order to help the soldiers who are fighting with Russia in the other regions. So she provided a couple of dozens of cans with the vegetables grown in her own garden. The third aid recipient that we finished working with is Irina Shevchenko. This is her barn where were animals, and in March last year, 3 times the artillery missiles hit this barn. That was the state, how it looked like in the summertime when we started working with her. So these 2 farmers helped her through our program with the windows and with the refrigerator and the milk pumping. She has 8 cows, so milk is her main produce that she produces. And this is the house that we built for her. At first, it was supposed to be a barn with a summer premise for her to stay in. However, when we inspected her other house, and the video is on our YouTube channel, I was myself there, it was shredded with the small particles of artillery so much that in September it was almost as cold as outside the house. So, and it was no way they could warm it up without totally rebuilding. So we did a little bit of change in the plan, and now it is a house where she can live and do the making of cheese and sour cream from the milk that her cows produce. Now, I mentioned that we are looking for the way to spread the word about what we are doing and who we are helping. So here is the stratum of the society, the small family farms that are the key aid recipient for our program. They produce little in terms of each separate farm. However, the number of these farms is so huge that they make up of the 27% up to 30% of the land, and they produce a lot of animal produce, like you've seen the pigs and milk, vegetables, orchards. Half of the total production of walnut comes from these small family farms. You can see the horticulture, 70% in total, but half of the walnuts. And of course, orchards, berries, dairy produce. Irina is a vivid example. She has 8 cows and she sells cheese, sour cream, and milk to the local market. So this is the people who we feel our obligation to help, because we work in the agricultural industry in Ukraine, and we also buy their commodities. We depend upon them. Ukraine will survive, will not suffer from hunger anymore. We have been taught with the history of these artificial starvations. However, we feel obligation to help others and to continue the production. Therefore, we will do our best to help these people with your prayers, with your helps. If you have ideas how it can be done and how it can be accelerated, maybe you have the necessity for us to provide you with additional information. We are open. We have the report on what was done. As I told you at the beginning, the total spendings from the past year was a little bit less than $45,000, and we managed to help 3 families with 2 houses and 1 tractor. I think it is a good result to prove and to show that our program is worth to be developing, and we can develop only with your help. So if you have any ideas, contact me directly, and let's stay in touch. Thank you everyone. God bless you and your families. We'll be in touch.
Thank you, Roman.
Thank you, Dr. Roberts.